Welcome to another episode of CrossTalk. My name is Kevin Tocci, and I will be your host for the next 30 minutes. Now, as you've come to know or realize that this is a community-based television cable show, and we do our best to feature guests who have something to do with either Whitman or Hanson or on the South Shore, and maybe an event that's coming up or maybe a political race, you name it. We do our best to try to get some interesting guests in here, or maybe just to kind of give you a little bit of an advance warning about the things that are going on in the community. Joining us by popular demand, he is with the Whitman Board of Health. He is Lou DArpino. Sir?
Thank you.
Welcome back. He was well sought after last year. And what this is kind of like, we were talking before cameras started rolling, and this is kind of like a pregame. Right now, here we are. We are on the cusp of summer. We're kind of mid-spring mood, at this time, and you don't think about things like mosquitoes or ticks or West Nile virus or Eastern equine encephalitis until we start hearing things about the state doing testing. First and foremost, how are you doing in regards to getting folks prepared and up to date when it comes to preparing their homes for, mosquitoes, mosquito breeding, and as far as ticks and being aware of that you can get sick if you don't pay attention to, if you're out in wooded areas and might happen to get a tick that ends up on your leg and giving you Lyme disease.
Right. Well, it's important that we get information out to the people of Whitman and Hanson and other towns as well. Mosquitoes, people don't realize, is the most dangerous animal on the planet. More people die from a mosquito bite than any other animal.
Sure.
And the diseases that they carry, malaria, encephalitis, triple E, West Nile virus, extremely dangerous and can cause death or permanent injury. So what I try to encourage the people to do is to look around, first of all, in their yards. The mosquito loves water.
Yep.
Standing water. That's where they breed. Every type of mosquito that there are, and there's over 3,000 different kinds of mosquitoes, 500 of which have been recognized in the state of Massachusetts. And those mosquitoes love to breed in water. So if you're looking out your backyard and you see a swimming pool with a cover with standing water on it, or if you see a rain barrel of some sort holding water, a flower pot, a bird feeder, the gutters around your house,
Yep.
They should be cleaned out all the time. Keep them clean, keep that water out of there and moving. Tires, old tires in your backyard.
Collect water.
They collect water,
Yep.
and these are all breeding grounds for the mosquito. Now, most mosquitoes won't travel too far. However, there is a salt marsh mosquito that will travel up to 100 miles to get that bite. And it's the female mosquito that does the biting, not the male.
Right.
The important thing is, like I say, about checking out your own surroundings. If your next door neighbor has a lot of standing water, but your yard is fairly clean, it won't matter. Those mosquitoes are going to travel into your yard.
Little buggers got wings.
Yep. So it's up to everyone to take care of their own property, so to speak.
What's it been like? When does the Board of Health, when does the state, the Department of Public Health, when do they get up and rolling and start trying to inform people about the importance of taking care of their property to at least cut down on mosquito breeding? Has this been ongoing for the past month or two? Is it when it's March and you automatically, it's like, we got to get ready?
That's it. Once the cold weather leaves us and we start getting warmer weather, and the more wet weather we have along with the warm weather, we start breeding the mosquitoes. It's not too soon. March, April, and especially now, May, whatever. So the other thing that's very, very important is that the people protect themselves from the mosquitoes.
Absolutely.
That's the first line of
Defense.
defense, is taking care of yourself. Wearing as much clothing as you can, depending upon the weather, to cover up, and to spray yourselves with DEET, spray your children with something that contains DEET. Up to 30% on the DEET. You don't need much more than that. The more DEET there is, the longer lasting the spray will be. However, up to 30% is very effective. You be very careful with young children with the DEET.
What's the problems that you have with young children in DEET?
Well, if they get it on their hands, they'll get it in their mouth,
Right.
and that type of thing. You don't want to get it near their eyes or near their mouth. I wouldn't do anyone under a year old. I wouldn't spray them. I'd put it on my own hand and rub it on their body that way. The things that attract a mosquito is a human being, is the heat from the human body, the carbon monoxide that we give off, and a mosquito can pick that up from 50, 75 feet.
Goodness.
And once they've got a scent on that, they just go for it.
Wow.
If you're outside enjoying a picnic, don't sit next to the guy that's drinking a lot of beer, because he's going to be giving off an odor that the mosquito just loves. So
But you're saying drinking beer and is something that because it comes, you sweat it out through your pores.
That's right.
The mosquito can sense that and says, "Hey, I'm in for this guy."
Exactly right. Exactly. Clothing. You want to wear dark clothing when you're outside.
Well, you're bumming because
Yeah,
you're wearing one right now.
I would be a prime target
Yep.
right now. You want to wear blue is the best color.
Why is that? Why is there a color palette that you can get away with that mosquitoes might not necessarily be able to pick up?
Because they anything that's closer to the color of the scenery that you're in, like the green trees,
Blend
the
in.
green grass, and blend in. With the loud colors, you'll stand out. And if you're moving around, this is going to attract the mosquito also. The movement, the attraction of the heat, and the odor that you're giving off.
And is it usually the standard dusk till dawn? Is this usually the areas that the time span that you have to worry about of mosquitoes and having the higher amount of contact with them?
Yes, that's the most popular school of thought.
Okay.
However, mosquitoes are out all day long. Different breeds are out in the morning or the afternoon. The worst ones are from dusk to dawn, the ones carrying the most disease. But mosquitoes are out all day long. And when you've got your children outside in the park playing and they're perspiring and they're out there running around and everything, then you become a real target for the mosquito.
See, it seems as though that we have to worry about this earlier and earlier every year. When does the state contact the communities and say, "Oh, we're going to begin trapping in certain areas"? When do you get the initial call from the DPH?
The DPH and the Plymouth County mosquito control people are trapping right now.
Oh, no kidding.
They trap early on, and because if there's a diseased mosquito out there, we want to catch it early.
Right.
And so they're already trapping.
It's like a dirty needle with wings, for crying out
Yes,
loud. That's what
it
you're worried
is.
about. It's
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, it's if it's going to victim to victim to victim,
Yep.
and you never know what it's picking up and what it's going to be transmitting to other people that it's biting to, survive.
Exactly. If you see a dead bird, all of a sudden the bird just falls out of the tree dead. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
He's probably been bitten by a mosquito. Now, there are some mosquitoes that only bite birds and dogs. However, there are mosquitoes that bite them and also humans, and that's how they transfer the disease.
How long have you been doing this? How long have you been with the Board of Health and having to alert people and warn people about the dangers of mosquitoes and being prepared for the warmer weather and possibility of being bitten by infected mosquitoes? How long have you been doing this?
Well, actually, I'm new at it. This is only my third year.
Really?
Yeah, I had a different life and a different career in the food business. And I retired, and I was home a year, and my wife said, "This isn't going to work. You got to go find something to do." So I answered an ad to the Whitman Board of Health, and I had most of the credentials anyway. But over the last 3 years, I've been getting all my education.
When you start hearing the news reports regarding West Nile virus, Eastern equine encephalitis, and realizing that, anybody could be affected, whether it's especially here in the southeastern Massachusetts area. I mean, what goes through your mind when you've heard that over the past couple of years?
Well, because of the education that I've received in the last 3 years regarding the mosquitoes and the ticks,
Yeah.
I'm much more aware, much more afraid for my grandchildren and my own family while they're out playing. People have really got to take this serious. And I can't stress that enough about making their yards, making themselves as free from a mosquito bite as you can, because it is dangerous.
Right.
And even if the West Nile or the Triple-E doesn't kill you, it can leave you with some very bad disabilities going forward.
Right. Not to move away from this subject. It's something that I think we'll come back to later on in the program. But I also want to make sure that we talk about ticks. And I'm hearing more and more people talk about how they came down with Lyme disease and how they didn't even realize that, they were out taking their dog for a walk in a wooded area. And it took them a couple of days. It took a while, but here they find a tick blown up with blood, and they didn't realize it, until too late and got sick. What are some of the things that we should be aware of as when it comes to the tick and Lyme disease, stuff like that?
Well, ticks are extremely dangerous, not only for the humans, but for your pets.
Right.
And I hate to make it sound like everybody should just stay in their home and lock the door, never
feels
go
that way, though.
outside, But ticks are the type of thing that if a tick gets on you, you should try and get it off of there immediately, because it'll take about 8 hours before the tick will settle in and bite you.
Wow.
So if you've spent a day in the woods or camping or enjoying the outdoors, the best thing to do is examine yourself and your children that night before you go to bed.
Right.
Okay? Even better than that is take a shower. If you can take a shower and scrub all the hiding places on your body that a tick would be, in the back of the neck, they like warm, damp places. Okay, behind your knees, under your arms, and in the groin area, in the back of the neck. So if you've been out enjoying the woods or the yard or whatever, take a shower that night and scrub yourself good, and chances are any ticks that landed on you will wash them away.
So, all right, so you've kind of helped me dispel a myth I've always kind of thought. It was my own myth, and that is I've always thought that if a tick was to find a way to attach itself to you, it's more likely that you would find it in your lower body region than anywhere else. So you're telling me is that a tick will find a way, once it attaches itself to you, to find a place to kind of bed down and begin enjoying a meal.
Exactly, from your head down. Children and their hair, behind their ears, in the back of their neck, and anywhere on your body that like I say, is warm and moist, so to speak.
What can we do? What can we do if we are somebody who takes our pet on a regular? Maybe I know a lot of people who like being outdoors, especially from the start of March right up until October, where it gets cooler. Is it a matter of making sure that you're wearing the proper clothing? Is there something that is on the market that you can at least put on yourself that would keep the ticks off of you? Is there anything that you could purchase that will help protect you? And I don't want to say, we already know that animals, that there are things that are on the market for dogs and cats, but what about as far as human beings?
There is. First of all, if you're in the woods and you're walking your dog, stay in the middle of the path. Don't go to the edges where the trees are, because that's the ticks are in the leaves and in the bushes, so to speak. So stay in the middle of the path so that they can't leap out and jump onto you. That's number one. There is a product out there that you can spray on your clothing called Primatrim. Okay, it's a product out there, and you spray your clothing. You don't put it on your person, you put it on your clothing.
Okay.
And it's good for about 3 or 4 washings.
Oh, good.
So if you take your children's clothing and you spray it in the cuff area, around the waist or the neck area, and that will help keep the ticks away from your children and yourself. And like I say, it's good for 3 or 4 washings.
If somebody was to have a tick that was harvesting them, so to speak, what are some of the residuals of Lyme disease? How would someone know that they have Lyme disease, and what are the effects? Are they long term, short term?
Well, first of all, if you're unfortunate enough to find a tick that bedded itself in,
Yeah.
do not try to take it out with vinegar or alcohol or anything like that, because that's only going to drive them in more.
Oh, no kidding.
The only way you can safely remove a tick is with tweezers.
Okay.
So if that means going to the emergency room or going to a doctor's office or emergency care and let them get at that tick, that's the only way to safely remove the tick. Anything else just drives them in further.
Okay.
Secondly, the disease is, it can be very long lasting.
I've heard that.
It can, you feel tired, you almost like flu-like symptoms. Okay,
Achy.
muscle aches,
Yeah.
feel tired, and then the next day you feel fine, but then it comes right back again. It's a long-lasting effect.
Wow.
And unfortunately, there is no magic bullet, no magic pill that will make this go away. It's only time that it will.
The body will heal itself.
Right, and will get better. And if you're more susceptible, or young children and seniors, it can get to the point where it can actually kill you.
Wow.
You know, if your immune system, which in young children it's not fully developed,
Right.
but in older people, their immune system is down also.
Weakened, right?
Right, just because of their age factor, that can actually kill them.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, it's again, I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation, and I invite you to come in. We've had a discussion before the camera started rolling. If there's things that are important to the health and well-being of the residents in both Whitman and Hanson, it's of a benefit to have yourself in here and kind of just warning folks of the hazards of today's conversation,
Right.
mosquitoes and ticks. You know.
There's one important thing that I didn't mention about the prevention, and that is cutting your grass. The mosquitoes and the ticks like weeds, tall grass, that type of thing. So if your yards if you have standing tall grass anywhere, cut it down, because that's where the mosquitoes and the ticks like to live. So if you remove that, you will also remove their presence.
Something definitely to keep in mind. Kind of going back to, we talked about some of the side effects or symptoms of Lyme disease. Let's kind of discuss, as far as if we are in the season in regards to the mosquitoes, side effects of Eastern equine encephalitis or West Nile virus. How does someone know that they have that, and what is the best thing for them to do if in fact they feel or fear that they might have contracted this?
Well, if you have that feeling that there's something more going on than a flu, get right to your medical professional. Let them diagnose it. They'll do it through blood tests and things like that. Don't linger with the symptoms. If after a day or two you're not feeling good, get right to your doctor. And because the sooner that they detect anything like this, the better off you will be.
What are you hearing from DPH as far as, have they predicted what type of a year we might see in regards to mosquitoes, in regards to the tick population? Do they give communities like Whitman and Hanson, who have, thriving Board of Healths, any kind of an indication what to watch for?
They not really. They're very cautious by doing the trappings. And by the way, Plymouth Mosquito Control, we will be spraying Whitman starting June 2nd.
Okay.
And however, they are also available for you to call, and they will, if you feel as though in the area that you live, if it's near a swampy area or anything like that, and you'd like your area sprayed, you can call them and they will come and spray for you.
That's strictly ground spraying.
Strictly ground spraying, right. Everything is ground spraying when they do the towns and everything like that. It's very unusual if they do spray from the air. It's very serious.
Right.
They don't like to spray from the air because of the bee population. We want to protect the bees, which we need. However, that's why they spray at night. They'll spray 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And when the bees are hibernating and not out. And however, the feeling is that this spray will not hurt the bees.
Good.
But we do let people know when we're going to spray, so that if they do have beehives, they can protect them.
And like the cranberry farmers, folks who have bogs, I'm sure they would be the ones who would be most likely, especially I think around this time of year, who would want to know that information. So that's good information to put out there. And if Paul, if you could put that back up on the screen, if folks wanted to contact the Plymouth County Mosquito Control, if they feel as though they have an area that needs to be sprayed, I believe that they do accommodate. I've heard that in the past.
Yes, they're very, very good.
We've got a little less than 5 minutes. Can you believe it? We have really gone through the program and given some good, valuable information to the residents of Whitman and Hanson. Anything that we've overlooked that you feel that we need to talk about for a couple of moments here?
Well, there are some things you can do around your house. Check your windows and screens in your windows. Make sure there's no holes, and so that the mosquitoes can't get in. If you have white outside lights, you might want to change them to a yellow light. They're less attractive to the mosquitoes.
If I could throw a quick plug in here,
Sure.
it's funny that you mentioned screens. We actually have another program that's here on Whitman Hanson Community Access called Around the House with Steve O'Brien. It was just a couple of weeks ago. He actually did one on screen repair. So, if you pay attention to our programming here on Whitman Hanson Community Access, and you have a couple of screens that need to be repaired, you want to do it yourself, you're somebody who's self-sufficient, I suggest that. So I just want to kind of throw
No,
that
that's
in here.
good.
When you said that, it popped up in my head.
So that's really it. Only to repeat, everybody can do their part by just looking out their back window of their backyard and seeing those spots, the gutters, standing water, ditches, anything like that, and eliminate that, and we can have a good summer.
Should somebody have like maybe a little bit of a checklist that maybe they go around their house maybe once a week, once a month? What's your suggestion to check and just keep an eye on this stuff? How often should somebody be taking a walk around their house and eliminating standing water?
Often, at least once a week, and especially after a rainstorm, because that's when the puddles will appear, and that's when we want to get rid of the standing water. As fast as we get rid of the standing water, you won't give the mosquito a chance to lay its eggs and to hatch. So if it rained all day yesterday, you want to be out there tomorrow or today getting rid of any water that accumulated.
And if folks, maybe there's a question that I did not put forth to you, but folks might have a question for you in regards to this subject or anything in matter of Board of Health, how can they reach out to you and speak to you?
You can call the office at the Whitman Board of Health at 781-618-9755.
Okay.
You can go online and look up mosquitoes. The internet is a wonderful source of information. You can come down to the Board of Health office. We have all kinds of pamphlets and books and information free of charge for you. And so the information is out there.
Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule,
Thank you.
coming on down here and providing basically a public service to at least educate folks at a time. And I'm sure we're going to play this program a number of times throughout the warm weather right into the fall. I want to thank you for being my guest. And again, the door is open. If there are any other concerns in regards to the Board of Health or anything that we can inform or educate our viewers, then I welcome you back here.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
You got it. That, my friends, is another CrossTalk. And again, my name's Kevin Tocci. And if you have any suggestions for guests here, it's as easy as to dropping a line, WHCA television @gmail.com, or calling us 781-447-4175. For Paul Watson, I'm Kevin Tocci. Have yourself a great day.